Are you ready to look at the moments that defined hip-hop this year for better or for worse? Because today, we are counting down the 5 best and worst songs of 2023. Now, when it comes to 2023, this has been one of the most polarizing years in all of rap's history. From the brilliant highs of some of the genre's greatest creative minds to the blasphemous lows of rappers who offend everything hip-hop stands for, this year is responsible for giving us some of the best songs in recent memory, but also some of the absolute worst. Now, if you can't wait to find the songs that will change your life and the ones that may destroy it, let's waste no time, and without further ado, let's get right into it.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
Now, kicking off this list with the worst songs, at number 5, we got It's Getting Hot by NLE Choppa, and when it comes to this track, I don't know how it's possible for a single record to get so many things wrong. Now, when we look at the state of modern hip-hop, I think the worst trend in all of the genre over the past few years has become the obsession with sample bait. Taking a song that was a bona fide hit in decades past, doing hardly anything to change it, and then calling it your own isn't just a lazy way of trying to make a popular song, but it disrespects just how beautiful and profound the art of sampling is at its core. Now, despite this trend running rampant and giving us so many hollow ringing hits that have no cultural impact, at least tracks like Jack Harlow's First Class actually were able to become the cheap hit it was aiming to be, but with a song like NLE Choppa's It's Getting Hot, it manages to make one of the most iconic hip-hop hits of the 2000s turn into one of the lamest tracks I have ever heard. Now, aside from the first few seconds of this song, which rip the exact same intro as Nelly's classic hit Hot in Here, this song is abysmal, with truly one of the worst performances I have seen in quite some time. From NLE Choppa's over-animated vocals to his songwriting, which has the articulation of a preschooler, this song is straight garbage, and it's even worse knowing that it was just made to try to start a viral TikTok trend. Now, despite the song just being a little over 2 minutes, it makes for an excruciatingly painful listen, and I really wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy to suffer through this thing. It's just baffling that while mimicking a song that made for such a bona fide cultural moment in the past, you managed to follow every step of the way wrong and make one of the catchiest songs into one of the lamest. So when we look at this song and see its miserable attempt to dangle nostalgia over listeners' heads and see just how embarrassing it spit up and destroyed such an iconic song in Nelly's Hot in Here, It's Getting Hot is a straight embarrassment to hip-hop, and for this reason, it's one of the worst songs of the year. Now on to the best songs of the year. At number 5, we got Drake and J. Cole's First Person Shooter, and when it comes to finally getting a collab in the modern era from two of the most important rappers of the last decade, I don't think we could have gotten a better track. Now, when I first heard this song, I didn't love it, I'm not gonna lie, but I think this was just because For All the Dogs did not hit the way I expected it to, but after revisiting this track and giving it some time, it's become a song that isn't just one of the best of the year, but makes for one of the most important hip-hop moments in recent memory. When we look at First Person Shooter, this song is an explosive celebration between two rappers who have reached a point of success that few have and ever will reach. From the opulent soul sample to the way the pulsing drums attack their way into the beat, this song is designed to be larger than life, and both J. Cole and Drake's performances bring this idea to fruition. Now, on J. Cole's side of things, he goes absolutely off in the bars department, tearing this track to shreds while managing to keep the energy and flow of things so high. And for Drake, while Cole definitely had the better performance on this track, with Drizzy's energy, he plays his role perfectly here. From the way these two foil each other in the first half, it's truly one of the best displays of chemistry that I have seen in quite some time, and it really makes me wish that we saw more collabs from them in recent years. Now, while the first half of this song is amazing, while some tracks with beat switches recently tend to fall off in the second half feeling super disjointed, this song does not one bit, with Drake delivering one of the most tenacious performances of his entire career here. Now, between the fast-paced, commanding beat to the arrogance Drake excretes, the aura on this half is one of a kind, and it's truly one of the most inspired moments we have seen from Drake in years. I think what really ties this track together and solidifies it as the grandiose moment that it is the ending where Drake takes a second and looks at his success, talking about how he is one top charting hit away from Michael Jackson's record, and realizes that no one will ever join this elite company. It's even crazier in retrospect knowing that this song would be the track to give Drake the same amount of #1 hits as MJ, but overall, for first person shooter being the absolute gold standard for what two legends collaborating should sound like, it is number 5 on this list. Now going back to the worst songs of 2023, at number 4, we got CS by Lil Uzi Vert, and while with Uzi's latest album, The Pink Tape, I loved a lot of the creative risks Uzi took. Just as I praise an artist for doing something creatively brilliant, I gotta roast him when they do something creatively terrible, and when it comes to this track, I really don't know what Lil Uzi was thinking. This song is just horrible. Now with a record like this, what's interesting about it is the fact that Uzi covered System of a Down's classic track Chop Suey, and while it was bold for an artist like Lil Uzi to cover a metal song, as much as I love Uzi Vert, this track is just a sheer and utter musical disaster. There is no way else to put it. Now when you compare CS to the track it is paying homage to, while Uzi is able to follow System of a Down's blueprint pretty spot on actually, Uzi fails to really translate any of what actually made this track a classic in the first place to their own version. Now while Uzi is singing the same lyrics as the original song, Uzi lacks the vocal range and emotionality to pull off such an aggressive performance, and as a result, it just feels like Lil Uzi's screeching in your ear half the time with how over the top it gets, and if you listen to this thing with headphones, beware because it will destroy your eardrums, I'm being serious. So between Uzi's angsty performance, which feels like the sonic equivalent to rolling around in a pile of boulders, to the production which feels like such a stripped down and distraught version of the original track, everything a good cover song should be, CS doesn't just fail to do, but disembodies at the fundamental level. It's really a shame that Uzi has found his way on the wrong side of this list because the Pink Tape has so many exciting tracks, but as it stands, the sheer and utter failure of CS puts it at number 4 on this list. And when it comes to the best songs of 2023, at number 4, we got Killer Mike's Scientists and Engineers, and oh my god, when it comes to this multi-generational mega collaboration, this track is truly in its own league. Now with Killer Mike teaming up with the prolific Andre 3000, the one and only Future, and Aaron Allen Kane, this song is one of the most musically stunning and topically rich tracks in all of recent hip-hop history. From start to finish, this track immerses us within a storm of emotions and consciousness, all conveyed masterfully through the 4 performers' peak showings. Now at the center of this entire track is Mr. Blue Sun himself, Andre 3000, who with his only verse of the year, just destroys everything in plain sight with an insane verse where he is bending his words and connecting his thoughts to paint this vivid yet jumbled image of his conflicting thoughts, regrets, and desires. The way Andre is able to speed up and slow down his flow and play with different vocal intensities adds so much texture and expression to what he is depicting, and overall, his performance alone makes for an easy verse of the year contender, but alongside the rest of this track, it becomes a near perfect rap song. Now while Future doesn't have the largest role on this track, his stunning vocals play alongside Aaron Allen Kane's as they paint this dazzling gloominess over the entire song, and on the back end of the record, Killer Mike hits us with a verse that plays off Andre's just masterfully. From Mike's rapid fire flow to the streams of pure consciousness that he is spewing. This verse isn't just a highlight of the year, but a highlight in his seasoned career as we see Killer Mike blossom here, delivering such a layered and nuanced verse that embodies everything his career has stood for as a whole. Now when you put all of these pieces together in one cohesive and coherent musical setting, what you end up getting with Scientists and Engineers is a beautiful musical picture that captures just how profound hip-hop can be when at its best. So overall, for Scientists and Engineers being a collaboration to remember for the ages, it's one of the best songs of the entire year. Now cracking the top 3 for the worst songs of the year, we got the track Luxury Life by Busta Rhymes and Coi Leray, and when it comes to this song, this is one of the most disastrous musical train wrecks I have ever heard. Now when you look at a song like this, if you would have told me that a legend like Busta Rhymes managed to find his way onto this list, I wouldn't believe you, but in 2023, Busta has been releasing music like he is in the midst of a midlife crisis, trying to sound like an artist who is half of his age, and when it comes to the many horrible attempts he's had at being hip this year, this is by far the worst. Now with this song, It embodies so much of what is wrong in hip-hop right now. While the sample beat craze has gotten out of control, that would have at least been the most creative part about this track, because here, Busta and Koi don't even sample, they just straight up plagiarize the beat from Jay-Z's 1996 track Ain't No. Now when you rip an iconic instrumental, you know you have to bring your A game to make your mark on the track, but when it comes to Busta and Koi's performances, they just butcher this track with some of the most uncomfortable verses that I have ever sat through. From Busta and Koi calling each other mommy and daddy to the Bonnie and Clyde dynamic they try to make this track interesting with, the attempts these artists make at trying to find something similar to collab about feels as inorganic as it gets. Now, although this song just feels so wrong and disgusting to listen to, it only ascends to the point it's at on this list when you hear its damned awful hook, which isn't just the worst hook I have heard this year, but it's one of the worst hooks I have ever heard in a rap song ever. I am serious about that. Now, I'm gonna spare you guys the pain and not play the hook in this video, but if you know the original Jay-Z track that Busta and Koi plagiarized, they try to pull off singing the hook that Foxy Brown and Jazzo nailed in 1996, and when it comes to their execution, oh my god, it's just terrible. Coi Leray just sounds like an AI, which for her, that's nothing really new, but with Busta Rhymes, his attempts at singing some high notes made my ears screech to degrees that I never thought it could. It was disgusting to listen to. It pains me to say this, but for a legend like Busta Rhymes failing so hard to be hip, plagiarizing a legendary song, and just straight disrespecting not just this coveted track, but his entire legacy in the process, Luxury Life is bottom tier hip hop. Now, fortunately, we are back to the best songs of the year, and at number 3, we got a track that will send you into another dimension with Travis Scott's My Eyes. Now, while Travis Scott's latest album, Utopia, is filled with so many amazing songs, My Eyes shines the brightest due to its sonic excellence and career-defining performance from Travis himself. From start to finish, this 4-minute and 11-second track embodies everything that you could ever desire in a Travis Scott song and so much more. The beginning welcomes you into one of the most transient and hypnotizing musical environments we have ever heard Travis in, and the vibes are just undefeated. From his brushing vocals to the sense of wonder that's invoked in the instrumental, this song makes you feel like you're drifting out of your body, and it's truly marvelous for that. Now, while this alone would make for a great song, once you hear that quick vocal cameo from Sampha and the first instrumental fades away, you are faced with a beat switch that, I'm gonna say it, is Travis's best since 90210. From the psychedelic synths to the spacey yet tense atmosphere, this second half lets Travis Scott deliver one of the most powerful performances of his entire career, and he does just this. In a rare found moment where he isn't raging or turning up, Travis gives us a glimpse into his introspective side, and hearing his raw thoughts really humanizes him in a way that many thought we would never see at this point in his career. Hearing such a matured and seasoned Travis Scott rap from such a genuine place doesn't just make for a special track, but it's compelling beyond the scope of nearly anything else he has ever done in his career. You can hear the frustration and regret echoing throughout Travis's voice, and the whole song really puts into perspective of who he is behind his superstar persona at this point in his journey. So overall, for My Eyes being arguably Travis Scott's best song ever, it's without a doubt top 3 on this list. Now, coming in at number 2 for the worst songs of 2023, we have a Watch the Throne level team up for Garbage Music with Lil Pump and NBA YoungBoy's song I Don't Mind, and let me tell you something, I do mind this song because this collaboration is offensively terrible. Now, with a song that teams up two horrible rappers in Lil Pump and NBA YoungBoy, they have the combined creative level of a rock, and with this song, it really proves that. I seriously think that an AI collab between Lil Pump and NBA YoungBoy could have been more interesting, because as it stands, this song isn't just horrible, but it's one of the most boring and uninspired records that I have ever heard. Lil Pump just phones in his performance by dragging along his measly singing with some auto-tune, all while his lyrics manage to say the exact same thing just 46 times over, and again with NBA YoungBoy. While because the bar was so low, I expected him to bring some sort of life to this track compared to Lil Pump, he only makes it worse. Now, YoungBoy doesn't even try to add a unique performance to this track, but instead, he just follows in the footsteps of Lil Pump, doing the absolute bare minimum by singing his way through this god-awful song, and with his low-effort vocals and annoying singing, there is not one good thing about what goes on this track. NBA YoungBoy and Lil Pump really just have a mid-off here, delivering two performances that I'd go as far to say disgrace the very genre they are creating music in, and with as bare bones of writing as it gets, along with the rancidly dull instrumental. This song is one of the most hollow-ringing pieces of music that I have ever heard, not just this year, but in my life. Now, with a list like this, while some music is so bad that you just can't help but see how bad of a train wreck that it will end up being, this song can't even manage to be that, and for these reasons, for being one of the most boring and lazy songs I have ever heard, it's the second worst song of 2023. Now, coming in at number 2 for the best songs of the year, we got a track that enlightened the entire music world with The Black Seminole by Lil Yachty. Now, from making songs like Minnesota and Broccoli to getting to this point, this track is the career-defining moment for Lil Yachty that represents just how special of an artist he has become. Every living second of this song is not like the last, and through Yachty's insane production and song structure, which makes this thing operate like a straight roller coaster ride, this is one of the most surreal experiences you can ever have with music, period, if you have followed Yachty's career since its beginning. Now, Yachty infusing his sound with psychedelic rock after making pretty run-of-the-mill trap music since coming onto the scene. This track was really one of the most ambitious risks an artist in modern hip-hop has ever taken, and while there was so much room for error, so much room for things to go wrong, nothing did, and as a result, Yachty made a song that I'd go as far to call perfect. From Yachty's vocals and singing, which feels so alive and championed, to the instrumental which evolves as it builds and relieves tension throughout, every single detail of this track is crafted to sheer and utter perfection. Now, there is not many songs I've heard in my life that leave my jaw on the floor this many times, and from the guitar solo to the absolutely insane outro, when listening to this song, there are so many mind-shattering sections that will change your perception on how you see music as an art form as a whole. Lil Yachty really put his soul into this track in ways that no art of his ever before was able to receive, and at its core, this is its strongest factor. Yachty talks about his evolution and coming into his own on this track, and there has never been a more fitting moment to welcome an artist into a new chapter of their career than on this. Ultimately, it's just so inspiring hearing Lil Yachty create such a rich and complex song that manages to embody just how profound music can be. Now, if you would have ever told me Lil Yachty would get this high up on this list with a song that would redefine his entire artistic spirit, I would have never believed you, and while this song may have kickstarted one of the most shocking creative endeavors I have ever seen from a rapper, it more than paid off with this song being an absolute masterpiece. So for The Black Seminole being the absolute definition of peak music, it's the second best song of 2023. And now it's about that time that you have all been waiting for, the worst song of 2023. In a year where hip-hop turned 50 years old, what is the song that disrespected the genre the most? Now, when it comes to the worst rap song of 2023, brace yourself because bad is an understatement, as we got the track American Flags by our guy Tom MacDonald and Adam Calhoun, which I feel like even calling this song garbage is honestly disrespectful to songs that are actually trash. Serving as the lead single of this wretched duo's second collab album, The Brave 2, this song features this disgusting duo doubling down on an album that calling cringe was an understatement, and by doing this, they managed to just humiliate themselves on the public stage. From the headache-inducing production, which feels like it was made over a decade ago, thrown away, and then dug back up for this song and put on life support, to the strenuous editing of Tom MacDonald's voice, which while trying to give this guy more vocal conviction, it just makes him sound like an absolute moron. This track doesn't just fail to do a single good thing, but it almost reinvents how bad a hip-hop song can be. Now, as I'm sure you can assume by the name, this track is all about the current state of America, and while there is a lot you can talk about in this regard to make some pretty interesting music, the conspiratory writing and weird points Tom tries to push onto listeners and shove down their throats just don't resonate with normal human beings, and considering this guy is from Canada of all places, it makes you wonder, why is he making a song about a country that he's not even from? Now, while having weird talking points driving this song forward is one thing, the fact that it can't even get the musical part right is embarrassing, as Tom's lyrical miracle style places such an emphasis on blurting out the most wordy and undigestible bars possible that it feels like you're being yelled at half the time, and it really gets nauseating to hear for almost 4 whole minutes. So all in all, Tom MacDonald manages to once again join the bottom of one of my lists with some of the straight out worst music I have ever heard, and if this guy continues down a path where both his subject matter and musicality have the conviction of a dumpster fire, as long as he keeps dropping music, he will continue to be the bottom of the barrel in the hip hop world. And coming in at number 1, for the best song of 2023. We have Tyler the Creator's track Sorry Not Sorry, and when it comes to this record, I was not expecting the final song of Tyler the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost finale record, The Estate Sale, to hit this hard. Now with a track like Sorry Not Sorry, what makes this song special is the fact that it's a reflection of the journey an artist has been on over the past decade of their life. After somebody like Tyler never looked back and always pushed forward to find new inspiration, it's ironic how he's created his most compelling song to date by finally looking back on the road that he's traveled. Sorry Not Sorry presents Tyler the Creator in a light that we have hardly seen him in. We are not hearing an alter ego or the climax of an epic concept album, but we are hearing Tyler for who he really is. As the music video reflects, Tyler is killing his past personalities and egos to push forward into something much different. While most of Tyler's greatest tracks thrive from being creatively rich over-the-top spectacles, Sorry Not Sorry is really not any of that, and this is why it works. With just a peachy instrumental, Tyler puts his heart into this track as he looks back on all of the pivotal moments that have defined his professional life and career. From friendships to love interests, the way Tyler explores his inner self and apologizes for all he thinks he could have done better is quite beautiful. With each bar he lays down, you can hear all of the emotion he is bottling up, and from the way he depicts to us his inner thoughts to the remorse he delivers them with, it's surreal to see such a full circle moment for Tyler the Creator. Now, while to self-reflect and talk about things you would change on a song sets the bar for greatness, what makes this song the masterpiece, yes, I said masterpiece that it is the way that Tyler juxtaposes these regrets with his eccentric side. Time and time again, after Tyler's done looking in the mirror for all he's done wrong, his ego snatches him and rationalizes why he did the things that he regrets in the first place. It's the way Tyler is able to look back at the past and fight the urge to regret that ultimately makes this song so powerful. Often in life, we want to look back and try to pinpoint different moments that we regret and how we would do them differently, but in all honesty, when we do this, we undermine the reasons why we made a choice that we probably thought was for the best at the time, and there's a beauty in understanding this. While it's okay to look back and wonder what if, Tyler puts into perspective that the past is merely a memory, and that to look back on each thing you did and apologize for it, it's a path that will always leave you empty, and this is why Tyler ends the track once again turning his back and walking away on everything he's laid out. It's the way Tyler is able to translate such a holistic principle into this song and perfectly depict the battles we face with our past and ultimately the path we need to take to keep going that makes this song not just the best of the year, but the best of Tyler's career in my eyes. So for Sorry Not Sorry being a pure musical masterpiece, it's without a doubt the best song of 2023. So there you have it. There is my list of the very best and the very worst songs that have dropped this year. Now if you enjoyed this and can't wait to see my videos on the best and worst albums and rappers of 2023, be sure to subscribe. You are not going to want to miss this year-end content that we have coming. It is going to be something truly special. Before you go, let me know in the comments, what did you think of my list? Also, let me know what your best and worst song lists look like. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching. Your support means everything. Mr. F, Fantastic Hip Hop, signing out. Catch you in the next video.